So to tell you a little bit more about that, yes, I'm Theresa VanderMeer. I'm the founder. I started I started visiting India something like 17 years ago. I was a student at the University of Michigan, and I got a research grant, a small research grant, something like $3,000 total. And that grant allowed me to go to India and work on an initiative. And the project I was doing at that time was I was studying women who were working in the informal textile industry. So basically doing interviews, talking to them, like going to their homes. And I learned a lot about this community. I also visited training centers where, or various organizations were trying to like help this population skill up. And I saw that there were a number of gaps. There were women who were getting training, but they weren't able to find good work opportunities afterwards. So similar to, I think, what Sai was saying, there's exploitation by middlemen who were taking the work that these women were making in their homes and not paying a fair wage. And in addition to that, there weren't actual like good job opportunities. So definitely in India, and there was just a piece in the New York Times recently about this, but there's a lot of safety issues with women getting from home to work, and then oftentimes safety issues in the work environment as well. So Work+Shelter will be celebrating 13 years in business next month. So that is totally exciting. And I will show you a little bit more about some images from the work we actually do. So we are, let's see, I've got to slide down. So we are basically a factory. We are a facility where the women come to on a daily basis. And the way they do that is oftentimes they pick each other up. So a couple women will leave their homes that they live right by each other. They pick up another woman, they pick up another woman on the way. So they arrive to the facility in big crowds. These are some of the women who work at Work+Shelter right now. And we actually started off in the knitting space. So we were knitting scarves and hand warmers and things like that. But I was living in New York City at the time, and I had a lot of friends who were makers, and they were struggling to scale their production. So as a consequence of like having, needing work to keep the women busy, but also knowing these entrepreneur makers in the New York City area, I thought, can't the women actually help with their production? Now that's easier than it sounds. With custom production, every single order is different, and you need to source, meet material minimums, and, designers are sort of, what makes designers oftentimes look good at their jobs is they're notoriously picky about this fabric just feels a little different from this one. And so we had a challenge scaling that kind of work. But in navigating all of that, we came across the promotional product space. And so what we do is we source fabric, we send it out for printing or embroidery, and then we actually sew the end product. We make tote bags, t-shirts, a lot of swag. And then we do also do some production for brands or designers who want simpler items. So for example, we work with a lot of card brands who also want to add tea towels to their line. So they are more like print designers, and they are not actually doing production themselves. So zip pouches, tea towels, things like that. Now, these are actually pictures from our facility. So this is an image of the fabric, of tracking or noting down how much fabric is being used for a project. And so originally Work+Shelter was really focused on basically like meeting these women where they are, helping train them, but also providing them with fairly paid work afterwards. And we continue to do that today. But what became apparent to me from actually living in India was we couldn't stop there. So these are images from another piece in the New York Times recently that was talking about the garbage issue in Delhi. So Delhi is the worst polluted capital in the world. And if you've ever been to India, you know that pollution is not limited to the capital, but it's pretty bad in Delhi. So where Work+Shelter is, it is next to the Yamuna, which is a dead river, and between a landfill that's always on fire, and until a couple years ago, a coal plant that was still operating within the city premises. And so having lived in India for years, it made no sense to me to have a supply chain that like didn't respect the place where we were from. So we started searching for better materials. And we do organic, we do a lot of organic cotton or recycled cotton, recycled polyester. You know, it's like whatever India does best is what we try to do best.